How's it going? I hope you're doing as good as I'm doing today. Oh man, I need to emphasize right off the bat that when I say this is one of the most brutal mental workouts I have had in a while, I fucking mean it, man. Oh Jesus, just getting into the gym. Like I think that my first warm-up set or two were like, that was like, all right, we're feeling okay. You know, not the best, but whatever. We'll be okay. The moment I went above 135, just mentally, it was over. You know, it is very rare that this happens, but you know, as much as I preach a good mindset and making sure you feel as good as possible, I essentially gave up on myself for a minute there. You know, it may not look that way because I've put so much time and effort into this shit that I haven't really looked at the sets, but normally when I think that I look like shit or I feel like shit, it's nowhere near as bad as how I feel because of the experience and the technique work that I've done over the years. But man, it is hard to come back from that kind of a thing. Physically, I'm gonna give 2 scores for today. As weird as that is, but I like partway through, like when I got to my top set on the clean and jerks, my mentality and my physical wellness just flipped, you know, and so physically walking into the gym, it was a goddamn I could give it a 6.8. I'm not gonna do the funny number because I don't fuck that shit. But I legitimately I was on fumes. You know, there's a bunch of reasons that could be why. I've been eating like shit. I didn't eat enough meat today, whatever. But I went in without the passion. You know, I walked into the gym being like, I just gotta get through it. You know, I literally left the gym telling my girlfriend, I just want to go now so I can get it over with. Worst thing you can do. Mentally, that shit sucks. If you're going to the gym casually and you don't really give a shit, whatever. But if you're in there and you're really trying to make progress and you're really trying to commit to it for your life, not just for the hobby of it, you gotta go in when the passions are high, or as high as you can get them to be. And I went into it with a loser's mentality. Not that I didn't want to win, but that's the whole thing. I didn't give a shit about winning when I got in there. So again, when I got in, physically 6.8, mentally, I'm going to throw a large number 5 on that one. It was not a negative day. I have explained this in the past, but for me, my 5 out of 10 is the baseline that I need to have a quote unquote good day. You know, that was it's the baseline of I am not having a day that makes me worse at the moment, but I definitely don't feel better. You know, the only reason that it's a 5 right on that cusp above it being a negative day where I am put down more than I'm brought up was because I stayed committed and disciplined, and I went to the gym regardless of how I felt, and I was committing to the sets regardless of how I felt. Getting into the end of workout ratings, again, this is a special day. This is kind of what I want to talk about. I preach this all the time, but maintaining your maximum intensity is paramount to succeeding in this kind of shit. In anything, honestly. Again, I have explained this in the past. This is not me saying you need to PR every single session. But whatever your body and your mind is willing to give you, you should try to push for that. And if you can reach it, amazing. That's what you needed to do today. But if you can go past it, that's fucking awesome. You know, that's an incredible day. And so, although I went in with such a bitch-ass mentality, I was feeling like shit. I didn't want to put in the effort or put in the drive, the passion. I just wanted to go home. I was like, no. This is what happens when the passion starts becoming obligation. This is not why I do this. So I tell everybody this. if you are ever in an emotional state, or you're not thinking as logically as you typically would, or you feel like you're just on a downslope with the mentality and it's bringing everything down, because if your mentality is low, your physical capabilities are going to go in the fucking tank, because a good mentality can make you pull out a lot more physical prowess than you had in the first place. But man, if you have a shit mentality to begin with, whatever physical capabilities you had walking into that gym that day, cut that shit in by 3/4, you know? Like, it just leaves you with fucking nothing when it comes to the effort. So I tell everybody, when you're like that, take a walk, you know? Or if it's like something if it's like a big life thing, sleep on it, you know? I always say sleep on it if it's something that can wait till the next day, because the best thing you can do is your brain shuts off and restarts when you sleep. So at least for me, in my experience, and the people that I've told to do this, they wake up and the logic comes back on, and they're like, okay, I can think clearly about this. Not in the sense of thinking clearly of how someone else wants you to think, but you have what you truly feel secured in that moment. So likewise, I literally took a walk. I walked to the other, the furthest edge of the gym that I could, so I could just stop looking at the weights. I got some water. I took 5. I came back and I was like, I am only afraid to do this weight, not only on the clean and jerks, but on my top set of the front squats. Same thing. I was fucking terrified, because now I brought back the mentality on the clean and jerks, but then I really had zero energy after that shit. And I was like, well, fuck, what do I do now? Same thing. I took a walk. I let myself really think about it logically. And I was like, on any other day, if I had felt this good physically, if my mentality was up, would I throw on the 35s? And god damn it, if you're afraid, this is something that I like to think about a lot. When it comes to ego, if you're excited to put a weight on, and you put a weight on because you can't, you're just trying to hit again, this is that top set that you're really pushing. If you're excited to hit that top weight, there's a good fucking chance that it is ego driving you, you know? Obviously, that's not always the case. I'm not assuming for anybody. But if you are going into a set and you're wanting to push and, throw yourself under that weight as hard as you can, and you're just, all adrenaline about that shit, then it's probably not a weight that you need to be necessarily going for in that moment. I like to hit my weights comfortably. That's why I call them comfy failures. For me, when you really have a weight in you that you should try to push, it seems ironic, but it's when you are afraid of that weight is, I think, when you should put it on. Now, I'm not saying if your body is in actual physical pain and you feel like you're going to pull something or whatever, to go ahead and try. I'm not. That you should not be lifting if you have any physical pain. You shouldn't have gone to the gym today if you have that kind of physical pain. But if you're in the gym, if you got yourself to go and you are doing all these sets and all the weight that you have in you are going well and feel fine, but just that top set, that weight that you feel like you definitely have in you, but you're too scared to try, that's the weight that needs to be put on the fucking bar, because that is where true growth comes in. And it's okay if you fail, but it's the whole idea that, for me, when I put weight on a bar, I am fully committed to that weight. You obviously won't see it, but when I was doing my last front squat set, I had 275 on. That was weight I knew I was going to get. And I was like, I could either put on 285 or go up to 295. And in my head, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, 295 is really fucking scary. I took that walk. I came back, and I really looked at it, and I was like, any other day, if the mentality was higher, then I would have thrown on the 35s, no questions asked. And the only reason I want to put on 285 is to give myself an excuse to run out of energy. Because sure, I only had one set left in me, I'll tell you that. But just because I had one set left in me doesn't mean I need to bitch out on the weight that I should be trying, that I should be trying to grow past. And so I get, always take this kind of shit with a grain of salt. This is just my own experience with this stuff. Everybody's different, and I don't want you to hear this and then turn into a massive fucking ego lifter for no reason. You need a reason behind the weights that you put on the bar. Like, I felt purpose in the weights that I put on today. Like similarly, on the opposite end, I got to the clean pulls, and, on a different day, I think I could have put on 355, but I only went to 335 because at that point, all the way at the end of the workout, after doing all those fucking sets and all those heavy weights, then my low back was fucking toasted and roasted. My low back and my core, my whole trunk, I was just completely numb. And at that point, I felt like, okay, any more pushing is ego that might injure me. Not, I'm afraid of this weight and I don't want to put it on. So I chilled out, and I'm going to leave it for next time to kill even harder. So I guess, what I like to think about with this stuff is your physical health needs to come first. The priority needs to be in maintaining muscle, bone, joint, ligament, anything physical stability. Because that's number one. I mentioned it a lot, but you can't lift shit if your trunk, any muscle group, any joint, ligament, bone, whatever, if anything is fucked up in any sort of way, you cannot lift properly. It's not how it is. If you are pushing through a lot of pain, and you are going to fuck it up way harder. I did that in the past, and my hand has a permanent deformity to it now. I have a bone growth on one of my hand bones, and because of that, I will never be able to hold my left elbow as high when I catch my cleans or I do my front squats. And that's as much mobility training as I tried to do. It took 10 weeks to even put anything on the bar after that. I came back and I realized that kind of egotistical lifting fucked my body up forever. And I did that when I was 20 years old. I'm 21 now. And so the fact that I had a deformity like that, and I'm telling you, bones, joints, and ligaments are permanent. Muscles, you can bring it back depending on the type of injury. If it's like the most major, maybe not. But, when it comes to fucking up anything with those things that keep the muscles together, that the muscles latch onto, it doesn't go back. You can mitigate the pain, you can get the mobility up, but no matter what, no matter how good you look later on, because I think my shit looks pretty fucking good now considering, but the deformity will always follow me. And it's a constant, it's not a fear factor for me. It's a constant reminder that is not what maximum intensity is. That is just ego and me trying to put on new weight because fucking shits and giggles. I feel like pushing new shit for no fucking reason. That's what that is. So if you're feeling afraid of some weight, but physically you are in it and locked in, take a walk, have some homie talk. Homie talk will really get you going. Do anything you know what to do. Shit, call a family member, call a best friend. Do anything. I don't care. It may seem weird in the gym, but do anything to get that mentality up. And I guarantee you, when you go back and you look at that barbell with the weight on, you're going to be like, shit, that is not as scary as I let myself think it to be. The only reason I am going to fail this weight is because of my own mentality. So if that's it, all you got to do is get that shit going in any way that you know how. Everybody's different. For me, take a walk, homie talk, call somebody if you fucking need to. I don't give a shit. Do anything it fucking takes to get to that level of maximum intensity, at least mentally. So to end the video, leaving the gym, I know I've edged you long enough. Physically, I'm still going to give it like a 7.4, because no matter how good the mentality is, I gotta stay humble. But like, my body was fucking dying. My core went numb. I was, it was all over the place for half the workout. And then when I got the mentality in, it was still like just as tough, and I couldn't even go as heavy as I wanted to on the clean pulls because of it. So yeah, but again, regardless, it's still progress, and I still put in the effort, and I still hit all the sets. That's what matters. Mentally, I genuinely believe I brought that shit back to. I'll give it an 8. I'll give it a solid 8. I don't want to go any lower or higher because it's just a feeling. I just throw out the first number that's in my head. There's not a whole lot of reason behind it other than psychologically that's just what's sitting there. But regardless of that number, it doesn't matter. Just like the weights, that number does not matter. It's the fact that I know undoubtedly that there was progress today. And I put in everything I had without sacrificing my body physically. So whatever you do with that information, hold it near and dear if it's positive. If you don't fucking like it, then throw it out the window. That's all I got, Tomorrow is pause squats and pause snatches. My core is going to be in fucking shambles, but we're going to be chilling. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. And otherwise, just stay safe. Keep your body in check and put in that fucking passion, drive it a little bit. Stop being so afraid of the shit that you are only afraid of because of your mentality. I will be back. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.